Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for the amazing resonance towards the college tennis video. In this video, I will answer your question, what does it take to get to college tennis? So stay tuned and let's get into it. Getting into college is not an easy process, but it's a simple one. For me, it started in high school and it took about 1 year, 1.5 years for the full story. Check out this video up here. And now I will tell you how to get into college. So the first thing you have to do is you have to inform yourself. Because for me it was the right decision, for some of you it might be the right decision, but at the end of the day, you're the only one that can make the decision. So my first recommendation actually is to Google college tennis. Go to the NCAA webpage, look what they have for tennis, Google some colleges. I played at San Diego State, you can Google San Diego State tennis. There are also other schools, look at the NCAA tournament footage, and you will get an idea what is it like to play college tennis. Then the next thing is, have a look at the United States. Do you like the culture? Maybe you listen to American music already. Maybe you've been to the US. Is that a vibe that you can handle, that you like for 4 years? Because it's a big decision where you're going to university. You probably can only do that once, and maybe you're European, maybe you're from Asia, maybe you're even from the US. But still, you have to make a big decision if you choose to go there for 4 years. It's a commitment. So also make sure you like the country where you will be studying, and even more important, when you get deeper down into the process, make a good decision to which city, to which state you're going, because this will affect a lot of your fun and productivity in those 4 years. The first thing you have to know is almost every level of tennis can be played in college tennis. College tennis is such a broad term that it often gets confused. So you have the top D1 universities where the top players, at least a few of them, make it to the absolute highest level in professional tennis. But you also have Division 2 where people play a very high level of tennis. You even have Division 3 and you have some junior colleges. So just because you're not number one in your age group, in your country, or even in your state, or maybe even your city, don't be discouraged. Everybody or almost everybody can play college tennis. But the differences between these colleges is tremendously. So it's not that everybody, let's give the example of UCLA because it's a very famous school. Not everybody that plays a good level of tennis or a good tournament tennis or is a solid junior will be called up by UCLA, go to LA and play at one of the best teams, at least in my time, in Division 1 and potentially go pro after. The selection process is brutal in college tennis. It's not easy to get into top schools because you have to know every year there's only a few spots that are opening up in those teams. So a roster of a team has anywhere between 8 and 14 players, and the scholarships are quite limited. There are not full rides, which means everything is covered, tuition and also living costs. We will get into this topic later. It's not possible for every player on the team, so it's a very competitive thing to get one of those scholarships, because otherwise it can get quite expensive to study in these American universities, especially when you compare it to studying in Europe. Hey, what's up guys? Today's video is sponsored by Keystone Sports. They are the perfect partner to get you into college. If you're interested in playing college sports, check out the link in the video description. And now back to the video. Okay, so a quick recap. You have to know if you actually like the college style. You will never know, obviously, until you're there. And also, you have to know this up front. No one is committed for 4 years. If you don't like it in the end, which I don't think you will not like it if you go, for example, you can still quit. Quitting is a hard word, but you can also just stop and study somewhere else. So you're not forced to do 4 years. This is important to know. But first of all, make sure you actually like to go to the US and you actually like this type of college tennis competition, because if you don't have a spark and are motivated to do it beforehand, it's probably not best for you. And then secondly, no, almost everybody can find a spot to play college tennis. but the level difference is huge, and also the level of the facilities, the difference is huge. If you play at a really big school with 50,000 students and a big football program, they will have a huge weight room, they will have many courts, potentially big indoor facility and very good coaching. And then at a small school, it doesn't mean the coaching is bad, but there will be much less resources. Maybe the coach has to coach the women's and men's team at the same time and works even another job. So it's more chaotic there. These are all things you can take into consideration. Back to my own story. I was a quite good junior playing tennis in Germany. I was ranked between like 15 and 20. And I tried to contact a few college coaches and I had some connections, but I didn't really see a lot of success in that. So unless you're a top player with good connections, doing everything on your own is quite a tough task. The other option is you find someone that helps you, like an agency, like Keystone Sports. They have a great network of colleges and college coaches and former players that will put you with the right teams in the right areas, suited towards your needs and what you want. And this is also what I personally did back when I started the college recruiting process. This is how the college recruiting process starts. It doesn't start with talking to coaches, it starts with you. You made up your mind that you want to go to college, and these are the steps that you should follow. Typically, you will start this process 2 years before you're finishing your high school, getting your high school degree. This is also important. You need a high school degree, and you have to do some other tests such as the SAT test and the TOEFL test to be eligible to play at a college team in a university in the US. It doesn't have to be high school. It can also be a different type of school. There are many differences. This is where like an agency can help you. But typically you have to complete the highest form of education before university in your country. So 2 years before you finish that, you will start playing more tournaments to get your ranking up. You don't have to become number one, but you have to become as good as possible while having good grades, because then you will have the best choice of university that you can get. And that's something that I believe it's always about maximizing what you have and trying to be the best you can be. So in this process, it's nothing different. While you're doing that, I recommend to you that you find an agency, unless you have very good connections to coaches. You find an agency and you set up with them, and they will help you. They will ask you to do a video. The college coaches, they don't necessarily have the time to visit you in Germany, or you might not have the time to go there and play in front of them. So you make a video where you play points and where you can see like your shots and your footwork, so they have an idea like who could potentially join my team. This combined with your ranking will give an experienced coach a very good idea of your tennis level. The next thing is you start the recruiting process. So with your results, with the agency and with the video, they will put you in a database where many college coaches can look at you, and every coach is different. Maybe one coach likes you, likes your playing style, wants to develop you, or had success developing players like you in the past, or even had players from your city in the past. So they will typically like you and will want to have you on their team. Or maybe they think, like from a human side of things, from a mental side of things, competitive wise, you fit well in the team, in the structure. This is also something that can make you more attractive. It's not just about your tennis level at the end of the day, many different factors coming in. So while you start this process, 2 years before, you focus more on playing a lot of tournaments. And then maybe 1 year before, or even 1.5 years before, you have to start doing these tests. The SAT test, there's also another test, the TOEFL test. Those are very crucial to get into colleges, and depending on how well the education is at the certain college, you have to get very high scores in these tests. And believe it or not, you have to do them in English. You cannot do them in your own language. So learning English, for some of you maybe not, for some of you maybe yes, is also important. So 2 years before you finish high school, this will also help you in high school. You should start to really practice your English, not just writing, also talking. Because in some of the tests you also have to do talking. So, quick recap, get your grades up, improve your English, play as many tournaments as possible, and start talking to coaches. Those are the 4 essential steps to start the college recruiting process. Finally, the most important question: what does it take to get to a top school? What does it take to get to a solid Division 1 school? What does it take to go D2 and beyond? It is very tough to give a general answer to this, but I will try my best, and I will also give you some perspective. So, I played for San Diego State University. At the time, the college rankings went until 75, and they were ranked between 50 and 60. They're a good team located in the West Coast in California, where there are a lot of good college teams typically because of the nice weather, and it's a cool state. So it was not easy to get into the school. Like I've said, I was ranked between 15 and 20 in Germany, and I was one of the few guys at the time from Germany going to colleges, so I was not a top recruit, but I was definitely sought after in these so-called mid-major schools. Those are all the schools typically that are not ranked in the top 25 in the college system. So I had not really a chance to get a scholarship into like a top 10, top 20 school. You have to be probably top 5 in your nation, top 10 in your nation, depending on the size of your country, to do that. Or the ITF Junior ranking is also a very credible source and a very credible metric that college coaches use to look at their prospects. But there you have to be for sure in the top 100 to be a really sought after recruit. And I don't think that the people watching this video will be one of those guys, because those guys, they get offers left and right from college coaches way beyond they even think about playing college tennis, because typically those guys prefer to go and play pro. So to get into a good school, a good D1 school, you should be a top guy in your country or a top girl. And this was not the case during my time, but as of late, they have more showcases where you can play in front of coaches, and the UTR tennis rating, so the universal tennis rating. It's also crucial to get this as high as possible, because this is kind of like the gold standard as of late to value a prospect going into college tennis. How high is the UTR? And you have many UTR tournaments around the world, so as I've said previously, you should get your ranking up, and you should also get your universal tennis ranking up. If you want to play D1, anything from top player in your country as a junior until like one of the peaking players in the nation is very suitable. If you want to go to a small Division 1 school, you can be a good player in your region. In Germany, it's a big country, we have a lot of inhabitants, but we have different regions. If you're a good player in your region, so in your state, then you can still find a D1 school, but it will be tougher, and probably you will have a lower scholarship going into that. But you can still prove yourself, and you can improve fast in college, so that's an option. But most likely you will be a Division 2 player, and you can still transfer if you're a Division 2 player. If your dream is to play Division 1, you can always show like good results in Division 2 and then move to Division 1. Anything beyond Division 2, or even the lower schools in Division 2, it's very hard to put a ranking on that, because it's a lot by feel, and the level differences are huge. Even from one year to the other, the differences are huge. So for those schools, if you want to go, those are small schools. I don't necessarily recommend going to those schools. There are also differences. There are some cool ones academically, but there are also some very small ones. And that's not really what I call the college tennis experience. So think twice if you want to go to those schools as opposed to studying in Europe, because we have a good tennis system, or studying in another continent, Asia, Africa, wherever you're located, South America. Maybe it might be better to just stay at home and play tennis there. Don't believe the college tennis hype too much. It's very nice, but the small colleges, I don't know if it's worth it to go. I've never been there, but what I've seen and heard, I would say no. But it's just my opinion. So, to come full circle, it's really important to start the process early and to get as good as possible, physically, mentally, and tennis-wise. So, try to get your grades up early, try to become a better tennis player, and also work on your fitness. The college coaches really like fitness. They like people with a strong character, hard workers. Those are like very American things like in sports that they like a lot. So if you're this type of player, they will like you more, and this will increase your chances of getting a better offer. In general, it's good to start the process early. Why? Because you will learn along the way, what does this college want, what does that college want, and then you can still work on those things while you're in the recruiting process, which in the end, and that's what I want for you, will lead to the best offer that you can get, maximizing your potential, and then having the best college tennis experience possible. As I've said before, if you want that, our partner in this video is Keystone Sports. They have an agency, they will set you up and they will help you maximize this process. If you decide to go down this route, I wish you all the best. And as always, if you have more questions, I can make more videos. Just let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.